Honor Oak Park. Yep, I'm actually south of the river, and I'm finally on my way to Crystal Palace. I think of this area around here, Honor Oak, Brockley, as being Spike Milligan country. He lived in a street not far from here. I wrote about it in my book, This Other London. This was a very heavily requested episode for the 100th episode, and hopefully you've watched the 100th episode now and you'll know why I decided to do something else. But I thought, wow, the 101st episode has to be Crystal Palace, and I've never been to Crystal Palace Park, shocking as that is. So I've contrived quite a short walk. It's going to take you in a few places I want to go to, and hopefully it'll be really delightful. Beautiful day. One Tree Hill is one of the places that I wanted to include in This Other London, and I don't know why, when I did the walk to Herne Hill Velodrome, chapter 4 I think, I missed this out in the end. I think I spent too long down in Lewisham, so I had to miss it out. So I was trying to get to the Autumn Omnium in time, but I'm finally doing it today. It's great. There's some information. There you go, and another reminder that we should never take our open spaces for granted. Look, thanks to the agitation, I think this is One Tree Hill is still public park today. You can see in 1896 it was fenced off, and there was a 15,000 strong crowd pulled down part of the fence in 1897 singing Rule Britannia. 6 days later a riot took, this time between 50 and 100,000 people. That's interesting, isn't it? In 1897 people felt that passionate about saving their public spaces. It's a little bit like the battle for Marsh Lane Fields in Latham. We must never forget these things, because there's lots of encroachments onto public land today, so it's valuable that we save it. So it says that this oak tree was planted to commemorate both the public opening of this of the One Tree Hill in 1905, and also to replace the original oak tree under which Queen Elizabeth is said to have rested on May Day 1602, the Oak of Honour. Wow, it is a glorious spot, that's for sure. So this concrete platform, you can see, is the original base of a First World War anti-aircraft gun. It was defending London against Zeppelin raids and biplane raids. And that's the view from up here. What an incredible view. You can see everything. Real cross section of the city over there. So I think I'm going to go to the Horniman Gardens next. Another place I've never been, despite people constantly telling me I should go there. This part of South London really is marked by a series of really relatively high peaks for London, all the way around South London, all the way across from Lewisham, all the way through, and all the way out east to Erith, really. I remember when I walked across from Lewisham to Brixton, it's just up and downhill. And originally I wanted to walk to Crystal Palace along what they call the Norwood Ridge, and we are going to partly do that today. Forest Hill Road, look at that view stretching out. I did come this way actually when I did the walk for This Other London. I'm getting a flashback now. I think I cut across this road and went through Camberwell Old Cemetery, which is just off the road here. I remember when I did this walk, and on Blythe Hill, which is a park there, gives another one of those incredible views of London, one of the best views of London. It's just nearby here actually. And I thought, wow, these walks along the south of London really give you an incredibly strong sense of the topography of the city. You really get a real cross-section looking across the London basin. It's really magnificent. These really are some of the finest views anywhere in London. This is from Honor Park Road. It's frustrating being short-sighted, I can't read the blue plaque. I'm going to have to put that up as a caption on the screen. What a beautiful looking house. What's it called? Ashbury Cottage. Here it is, the Horniman Museum. What a magnificent building. Astonishing as it might sound, this was originally the home of Frederick Horniman, who bequeathed it to the people. It's quite some pile, isn't it? Here's the entrance to the museum. I think I should pop in for a quick look. This is basically a room of stuffed animals and pinned insects. What a beautiful park here, the Ornament Gardens. Really is a magnificent park. Nice cafes there as well. Licensed, you can even have a beer or an ice cream. So I'm hoping this little footpath here will take me to Sydenham Hill Wood with a bit of luck. This is really delightful. This little path here, which I think is part of the Green Chain Walk, carries on through this estate and hopefully out Sydenham Hill Wood. Here we go. Sydenham Hill Wood, which combined with neighbouring Dulwich Wood forms the largest remaining tract of the old Great North Wood. Wow! I have to say, today's walk has been one revelation after another. Fantastic, beautiful topography, incredible views. What more can you want, hey? It's been an almost unbroken chain of green spaces from Honor Oak. Got a marker stone here, a boundary stone. This is the boundary of the borough of Camberwell, which of course no longer exists. The Woodhouse. That looks like a really good pub. From memory, I think that could be one of the places that was built here due to the springs in the area. Got springs around Sydenham. Sydenham Wells is next on the walk. Yeah, there we go. Crystal Palace Park, 2 miles away now. Here we go, down into Sydenham Wells Wood. Wow, it looks beautiful. Here we are, Sydenham Wells Park. I think I've really worn the word magnificent out on this walk, but it has been so apt for everything I've seen. Look at this, Sydenham Wells Park. What a beauty.
Sydenham was famous for its wells from at least the 17th century. There were a number of them in the area, including one in this park here that used to be visited by George III, escorted by his lifeguards. There's a bit of verse here that was written around that time that celebrated the wells here and also mentions the name of one of the keepers of the well. And there you will find a wild retreat from time immemorial called Sydenham Wells, with old Betty Evans complacent and neat, and a gypsy if wished who your fortune foretells.
I'm just going to go up the hill here and then across the road, hopefully then into Crystal Palace Park. Wow, really exciting after all this time. I mean, however beautiful this park is, and it is beautiful, it's all about the dinosaurs really, isn't it? So let's make a beeline for the dinosaurs. That's a pretty impressive bit of what I assume is sculpture there. Wow. Wow, some beautiful bit of terracing there. That must be part of the original landscaping, the Victorian landscaping of Crystal Palace. I'm sure a lot of you already know, but the name Crystal Palace comes from the literal big glass palace that they built for the Great Exhibition of 1851 that was moved from Hyde Park to here. And then it burnt down. When did it burn down? I'll put the date on the screen. It burnt down a long time ago anyway. There are little bits here and there that are left. There's not much left, but there's some little bits. I'm guessing this terracing is part of that original Victorian landscaping. The Crystal Palace Transmission Tower is a real landmark. I think that's still here. We saw that behind the terrace back there. It's a huge, huge park. Almost a bit overwhelming, actually. Yeah, look at this. There's all sorts of stuff going on here. So this is the Crystal Palace Stadium. Wow. That's really impressive, isn't it? I think it's been upstaged a bit by the London Stadium, the old Olympic Stadium. I do believe this is still the National Athletics Centre. I could be wrong. This is a great map. Look at that. It shows you everything. So it is the National Sports Centre Stadium. And this is what we want. We want the dinosaurs. I do love a good boating lake. I'm not sure I fancy taking a pedalo out on my own. It's bloody hard work. Is this a foretaste of the dinosaurs, I wonder? Does this indicate we're on the right way to Jurassic Park? So I'd say we found the dinosaur park. Look at that. Isn't it magnificent? I do believe these originate from the original landscaping of the 1850s when the Crystal Palace was moved here. And these sculptures were commissioned. It's one of the few sort of surviving things from that 1850s park. They're beautiful, aren't they? Some of these dinosaurs were had only just been discovered and named and categorised when they opened the park. I think that's the end of the walk, he says, on a park bench. Thank you so much for recommending that. What a magnificent walk it was. I can't believe I left it so long to come down to Crystal Palace. I'm just going to relax here for a bit and then jump on the train back to Leytonstone. See you on the next walk.
you.